last class is like what is a front end is, right? I said these things in the last class. I said what is a front end. So after that, yes. So I said what is a backend is, and then when we have seen what is a static web application and what is a dynamic web application. So and then we have seen so what is a client is, and then we are talking about which one server. So for developing web application, so web application development required how many softwares here? Two softwares. One is a client and one more is what? Server. So what is a client is? In web application development, a client is what here? Browser, right? And browser is called as a thin client. So why you are saying it as a thin client? Because this browser will do the operations on behalf of which one? User or end user. Because of that, browser is called as what here? Client. And web application is accessed by the client with the help of which one? Browser, right? Example is Edge, Chrome, all these are called which one? Browsers. The next one, what you required is in web application development, you required another software. And what is that? Another software is server. What you required is a server. So what is a server is? So where you install your web application. Okay. So in web application development, what is a server is? Server is a software. Server is a software or what? Program. What is a server? Is a software or what? Program. So okay, where web application is what? Installed. What is a server? Is a software. Server is nothing but a software or program. Server is a software or program where web application is what? Installed. So where you install the web application within one program. And what is that program is? Server. Okay. So server, what server will do? Server. Okay, server web application resources. Server web application resources to one user or more than one user. One user or more than one user. Okay. So who serve your web application services? By the server. So server serves web application resources to one user or more than one user. So this server, assume that suppose you have a one web application. What is that web application here? IRCTC, IRCT or IRCTC, right? Yes. So yes, if you take this is one web application. Yes, this is your web application. Now where this application will be there, where this application is installed. This application is installed in one system. It is installed in one system and installed in one program. And what is that program is called a server. The system which contains the server is called which system? Server system. Okay, this is called as which system here? Server system. And what is this here? Your web. What is this here? Your web application. What is this here? Server. This is your web application and installed in what here? Server. What is a server is? Server is what? And a server is one software. Server is one software or what here? Program. So what this server is doing? Serving this web application resources to either one user or more than one user, right? So where it is installed, your application is installed within what? Server. Understood? So the system which contains the server, you call it as server system. You'll say, no, server is down. Server is down means your server is not working. Which program is not working? Server is not working. Yes, because it is unable to serve this application, right? So you required one program. And what is the name of the program here? Server. Okay. And in web application development, these servers are called which servers here? Web servers. Or the same thing you call it as which one? HTTP servers. The servers are called which servers here? HTTP servers. Your server understand which language here? HTTP. So what is this server is called here? HTTP. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. HTTP stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol, right? So because in web, how client communicate with the server? Tell me, how client communicate with the server by using one protocol? Is communicating by typing one URL, by using one protocol. What is that protocol? HTTP. One is HTTP and one more is HTTPS. What is HTTP stands for? Hypertext. What it is called? Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is called Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Okay, right? And HTTPS is nothing but HTTP plus what it is called? HTTP plus SSL. SSL means Secured Socket Layer. So where the data is exchanged with encryption and decryption, right? So HTTP plus SSL. Now these are protocols. Now you are using this protocol to send. What you are sending? Information. What you are sending? Information using which language? HTTP. So it is a protocol, right? So protocol used to have a communication between two programs. Which program it is? Client program and one more is server program. Okay. So client is sending a message by using which protocol? HTTP. Client is sending a message using which protocol? HTTP. Then your server should understand which one? HTTP. So client to talk to, now HTTP client to talk to, see here HTTP client talk to which server? HTTP server. HTTP client to talk to which server? HTTP server. FTP client to talk to which server? FTP server. Okay, it is UDP client to talk to which server? UDP server. Okay, you learn this. UDP server, UDP client, right? So FTP client to talk to which server? FTP server means now English person talk to whom? English only. Okay, Telugu person talk to whom? Telugu only. Hindi person talk to whom? Hindi only. So what is English, Telugu, Hindi? Language. So this language is used to have a communication between two programs. I mean two persons. Two persons are communicating with each other. See here, two persons are communicating with each other using one language. What is that language is? English. Two persons are communicating with each other by using which language? Telugu. Here also in networking also, how many persons are there? Two persons. Who's the first person is client. One more person is what? Server. Because who's giving services to the client? Server. You ask, I want idli, then he'll get idli, right? Huh? So server understand which language? HTTP. HTTP and HTTP server and HTTP client. HTTP server and HTTP client, right? Yes, it is an interface between the browser and what? Server. So your server is which server here? HTTP server. HTTP server. Understood? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. And these servers can be two here. One is development servers. You'll have a development servers, and one more is production servers. The servers will be two. One is development servers, and one more is what? Production. Means there are two environments will be there. One is development environment, and one more is what? Production environment. Okay, so development servers and one more is production servers. So development servers are used for developing and testing, web application. Okay, so at the time of developing application, you'll be using which servers? Development servers. Once your web application is developed, then you move from which environment? Development environment to which environment? Production environment. You move from development environment to what? Production environment. So production server where, yes, the production server where, so where application is installed, and available to all the users. So that you call it as which server? Production server, right? So production server where web application is what here? Installed and available to what? All the users. So that is two types of servers are there. One is development servers and one more is what? Yes, production server. Suppose you are developing project. Okay, you are developing project, but you develop a project and that project is in development, right? So in development, and you don't give that project to all the people. You make your application available to all the users. No. When you make your application available to all the users, once the development is completed, then you move that application from development environment to which environment? Production environment. So there are two types of servers. One is development server and one more is what? Production server. Now this is having more features compared to which one? Development. Okay, right? So then next is this development servers and production servers. These are which servers? HTTP servers. And HTTP server understand only which language? HTTP. But you are writing a programs in which language? Python. You are writing a programs in which language? Python, right? Getting or not? HTTP server understand which language? HTTP. But you are writing a program in which language? Python. Then you required one interface between the HTTP server and Python program. Okay. So that interface, yes, you required one interface. Yes, live server. Example is live server is which server? Development server. It is used only for development purpose, but not for what? Production, right? So production servers where web application installed and available to what? All the users. Okay. So then now This server, whenever you talk about, see, these are technologies which you should know it. If you don't know this and if you develop web application, there is no use. Okay, in real time, you should know all the things, right? If you don't give it, if you don't know these things, then it is difficult. You don't know what is a server, what is a client. Even you develop uh, application using HTML, you don't know. Are you installed in the server or not installed in the server? But as a web developer, you should know what is a client is, what is a server is, right? So if you don't know these things, then it is difficult, right? So server, this is your server, right? But this is which server here? This is which server? HTTP server, and the same thing you call it as which server? Web server. And always your web server is HTTP. But here you are writing a program using which language? Python. You are developing applications using what? Python. You are developing applications using Python. Then how this server communicate with the Python? How this server communicate with the Python? Okay. So how it communicate? For that you required another program or not? Yes. You required another program which is able to communicate with what here? Python. And that programs are developed. Those programs you call it as engines. Those programs are called which one? Engines. The same thing you can call it as what here? Containers. Those are called engines, or those are called which one? Containers. So what is the role of containers here? The container role is the role of container is the server communicate with what? Container. Because you are sending a request or you are giving input by using which protocol? HTTP. But your server is able to understand only what? HTTP, but cannot understand which one? Python. Then the server should communicate with which application? Python application. The server should communicate with which application? Python application. Who should execute this Python program? Is a server will execute Python program? No, because server knows only which language? HTTP. Then here you required one program which will run which program? Python program. Then what you required here? Containers. And these containers are developed by following certain rules and regulations. These containers are developed by following certain rules and regulations. It means there are different vendors develop which one? Servers. And they develop containers by following certain rules. And that rules you call it as WS. One is called as WSGI. WSGI. What is WSGI stands for? Web Server Gateway Interface. Web Server Gateway Interface. What it is? A standard. It is a standard which defines set of rules and regulations to have a communication between the web server and Python application. Understood? Right? What is WSGI is? Web Server Gateway Interface. Why you require this? If you don't have that, is it server can understand? Is it server can execute Python program? No. Server cannot execute which program? Python program. Then you required one interface, right? To have a communication between the Python and what? HTTP server. You required one container or one interface. And what is that interface is called? WSGI. So what is WSGI? Okay, just to say it. You understood? Are you getting or not? Okay, these terms you should know it. Who runs the Python application? Server. But server required another program. What is that program is? WSGI. So WSGI is synchronized, but ASGI is synchronized as well as what? Asynchronized. Synchronized as well as what? Asynchronized. So what is WSGI? Now just to see here. It is a standard. WSGI is what here? Standard. So what is WSGI? Server. Or what is WSGI? Server or WSGI? A web server gateway interface server runs Python code to create which applications? Web applications. Okay, what is WSGS server? Now see here. So web server gateway interface. The web server gateway interface pronounced as what? Whiskey or Whiskey is a simple calling convention from web servers to forward a request to what here? Web application. So there are different definitions out there here. The web server gateway interface is a simple calling convention for web servers to forward the request to a web application or framework written in what? Python programming language. Okay. Yes. This definition I'm taking. So what is WSGI? This is a definition of WSGI. So what is the role of WSGI is here. The web server gateway interface is a simple calling convention for web servers to forward requests the request to a web applications or frameworks written in Python programming language. So it acts as an interface between web server and what? Web application. Okay. It means whenever, are you getting or not? All of you, right? You understood what is server and what is WSGI? What is your server is which server? HTTP server. HTTP server understand HTTP language, but you written the application in. So how server communicate with the Python? Yes, using WSGI. Okay, now so the server which develop using WSGI, don't put questions in question and answers here, please. Anonymous. Okay, now, right? Try to put in short window, please. Okay. So now suppose this is same. This is same for all languages. For example, now if you take a HTTP server, now this is HTTP server. Okay, HTTP server. And you are writing the code in, you are developing web application in what? PHP. PHP. You develop application in what here? PHP. Is it HTTP server understand PHP? No. Then what you required? You required one container or not? Yes. What is that container is? Not WSGI. WSGI is only for Python. WSGI cannot communicate with what? PHP. It cannot understand PHP. But here what you required? PHP container. You required what container? PHP container. Okay. In the same way, suppose this is your server. Okay. This is which server here? HTTP server. This is HTTP server. Okay. Now I write a code in which language? Java. So is it server understand Java language? No. No, right? Then what you required here? Container. So you required a container or interface or not? Yes. What is that container here? Java container, like that. Yeah, XMPA. Yes, Pratik. Yes. Now Java means servlet container, JSP container. Yes. So those containers you use to communicate with these programs. Yes. Yes. Understood, right? So the servers which contain WSGI, that you call it as which servers? Python web servers. So that understand only which language? Python language. That understand which language? Python language. Understood, right? So there is WSGI and one more is what? ASGI. So both are interfaces. Both are what here? Interfaces. Both are interfaces only. So this is WSGI server and one more is what? ASGI server. So what is ASGI interface here? ASGI server is a web server implementation in Python that uses a synchronous server gateway interface standard. ASGA is a protocol that defines how web server and application interacts, especially in asynchronous context, and it is essentially a modern version of web server gateway interface designed to support asynchronous and concurrent processing of requests. Asynchronize. Okay. Now, what is ASGA? I just take the definition here. What is ASGA server is? Now, this is the meaning of ASGA. Synchronize and asynchronize. I think these terms you should know it. Asynchronize and synchronize. Synchronize means synchronization means allows only one user. Asynchronous means allows multiple users to access resources. That is where you find the difference between synchronize and what? Asynchronize. Okay, na? So WSGI is what here? Synchronize. Asynchronize or synchronize? Synchronize. But ASGI is what here? Asynchronize. And this supports both synchronize as well as what? Asynchronize. Synchronize. Synchronization. You learn in multi-threading, right? Synchronization. See. So an ASGS server is a web server implementation in Python that uses a synchronous server gateway interface standard. Okay. ASGA is a protocol that defines how web server and application interacts. Same. Especially in asynchronous context, it is essentially a modern version of web server gateway interface designed to support asynchronous and concurrent processing of which one? Requests. Okay, right? So most of the production servers will be what? ASGI. But application, development servers are what? WSGI. Most of the production servers will be what? ASGI. ASGI, asynchronized. This is what here? Synchronized. This is what here? Asynchronized. Synchronized means allows to process how many requests? One request. Asynchronized means allows to process how many requests? Multiple requests from multiple clients. That is where you find the difference between WSGA and what? ASGI. Understood? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. For example, see here. You should know all these things, but if you don't know this, if you develop application, there is no use. Understood? Right? Suppose now a person want to develop, suppose one company is there. What is the name of the company? Some Apache is there. Apache. This is one company. Now they want to develop a web server for Python. Okay, this company want to develop web server for what? Python. Then they develop server, right? They develop a server. Which server? They develop a web server. And this web server should contain, what should it contain? One container or not? Yes, one interface should be there. What is that? What is that interface? WS, what is that? WSGI. So actually this WSGI, what is WSGI is, it is a set of rules and what? Regulations. These are nothing but set of rules and regulations used for developing, okay, for developing with servers. WSGI what here? Servers. If you want to develop WSGA servers, you develop WSGA servers by following the rules given by what? WSGA. I think you know it. For example, I'll tell you a simple example is, so these are nothing but what here? Abstracts. What these are called? Abstracts. What is abstracts, sir? What is abstracts? Set of rules and regulations. Set of rules and regulations that you call it as which one? Abstracts. Abstracts are nothing but set of rules and regulations. Okay, now these are the abstracts given by, these are the abstracts, right? These are the abstracts. These are the abstracts, and these abstracts are followed and developed which one? WSGA enabled what? Servers. These abstracts and used and developed with servers WSGI enabled what? Servers. WSGI enabled servers. Correct or not? Okay, suppose Microsoft is there. Assume that there is a Microsoft company. Now Microsoft want to develop which one? Server. Which server? WSGI server. Then how they develop it? By following the standards given in what? WSGI. Correct or not? This is one standard. This is one standard used for developing which applications? Web applications in what? Python. Correct or not? So WSGI is a standard. WSGI is what here? Standard. Okay. So this standard is used for developing which servers? WSGI servers. Okay. So different companies, they develop different WSGI servers. But this is one standard. For example, see here. Assume that you have a DB API. In Python, you have a DB API, right? So what is a DB API here? Database. Database what? Application Programming Interface. DB API is nothing but Database Application Programming Interface. What these are? Abstracts. These are nothing but rules and what? Regulations. And these rules are followed by which vendors here? Database vendors. Now you have a different database softwares. Assume that there is a database called which one? Oracle. This is which database? Oracle database. And this is which database? MySQL database. And this is which database? SQL Server database. So all these are various database servers are not? Yes. And server understand which language? SQL. Every database understand which language? SQL. Then how, suppose, a simple example if you take, how my Python program communicate with this database? This is my Python program, right? How this Python program communicate with the database? Then you required one mediator or not? Yes. And that mediators are developed by following the rules given by whom? Python. That mediator is developed by following the rules given by whom? Python. And what is that mediator? These are engines or libraries or drivers. Engines or libraries are what? Drivers. Now you find what is the name of the library? Tell me, what is the name of the library? CX underscore what? Oracle. Now CX underscore Oracle is used to communicate with which database? Oracle database. Then you have a MySQL connector. You have a MySQL what here? Connector. And MySQL connector is used to communicate with which database? MySQL database. Okay, in the same way, you might have PySQL or something, right? So MS SQL. Now this is used to communicate with which database? SQL Server database. Now tell me, these are interface. This is interface, right? These libraries are interface between the Python program and what? Oracle. So whenever you want to communicate with the Oracle database, you are using which one? CX underscore Oracle. Whenever you want to communicate with the MySQL database, you are using MySQL connector. And whenever you want to communicate with SQL Server database, you are using what? MS SQL. But all these are developed by following the rules given by whom? Or all these are developed by following the rules given by whom? Python. All these are developed by following the rules given by whom? Python. And these rules are called as what here? Abstracts. These rules are nothing but what here? Abstracts. These rules are nothing but what here? Abstracts. CX underscore Oracle is outdated. Then which one is indated? Oracle DB. Oracle DB. Okay. CX underscore Oracle is why outdated it is? Why it is outdated? Huh? It doesn't support. It doesn't support. What it doesn't support? Yes, it work up to 3.11, 3.11, 3.13, 3.11 only, 3.11. But 3.13 doesn't work. Okay, so no problem. Okay, but I worked with 3.12 also. I don't know. 3.12, 3.13 I worked, but is working, right? I worked on 3.11, 12, 12, 3.12, 3.13 also I worked, but is working, right? Working or not working? Working, then what happened here? Who's given Oracle DB? Who's given Oracle DB? Oracle DB is given by whom? Me, Who gives the Oracle DB? Sun Microsystem, or you are learning Python or Java, Huh? Sun Microsystem ఎందుకు వచ్చింది మధ్యలో? IBM, IBM is given Oracle. IBM, who's given? Microsoft. Microsoft is given Oracle DB. Yes, sir. But actually, Oracle database is a product of Sun Microsystem. Yes, Sun Microsystem. So who's given CX underscore Oracle is Sun Microsystem. Sun Microsystem, Oracle, Oracle. Because Oracle is take over by suppose. So Oracle database is a product of which company? Oracle company. Then who's given CX underscore Oracle is Oracle company. So CX underscore Oracle is given by Oracle people. Yes or no? So, but how they develop this CX underscore Oracle? By following which one? The rules given by whom? Python. What is that rules are? DB API. What are those rules are called? DB API. Understood? So CX underscore Oracle is given by which people? Oracle people. Understood? To communicate with which database? Oracle database. But how they develop this CX underscore Oracle is by following the rules given by whom? Python. By following the rules given by whom? Python. Okay, now you understood up to this, right? Now come to this one. So don't be confused, okay? But you should know some terms. Because of to know these terms, you should able to understand these terms here. Terms means 1 minute. Why it is not sharing? So 1 minute. Yeah, okay. Now this is what will happen. So I think you understood this, right? So this is how you communicate with. In the same way, now see, come to this one, our web application development. Okay, now. So now this is what here. This is your server, right? Which server it is? All right, this is which server here? HTTP server. This is HTTP server. Now the client is there, no? This is which client? All right, this is which client? HTTP client. So HTTP client, what is doing is sending a message to what? HTTP server. But your application is written in which language? Python. Your application is written in which language? Python. Then how your server communicate with this Python program? Okay. Then what you required here? What you required here? Interface. What is that interface is? WS. What is that? WSGI. So what server will do? Server send a request to which one? WSGI. And that will communicate with which program? Python program. And Python program execute and send the output to which one? WSGI. WSGI send that output to whom? Server. And server send that output to whom? Client. This architecture we'll see in detail. But who will act as an interface between your Python application and WSGI? Sorry, who will act as an interface between HTTP server and Python? WSGI. Here, now in the same case, like how you communicate with the Oracle database by using one interface, and you are also communicating with the Python application by using what? WSGI. So you can say that WSGI is a standard. Okay, it is a standard. It is a standard. It is a standard. It is a web server gateway interface, a simple calling convention for web servers to forward requests to a web application or framework written in which language? Python programming language, right? So ASGI is nothing but an ASGS server is a web server implementation in Python that uses a synchronous server gateway interface standard. ASGI is a protocol that defines how web servers and applications what interacts, especially in asynchronous context. It is essential a modern version of web server gateway interface designed to support asynchronous and concurrent processing of which one? Request. Okay, right? So this is about WSGA and what is it? ASGA. Now when you see the list of, okay, if you see the list of, okay, list of which one? DJANGO. DJANGO what here? Servers. Now you have a lot of DJANGO servers, right? Now there is a development servers. Now you can see these are web servers which support which one? DJANGO here. A pure Python HTTP server commonly used for serving DJANGO WSGI applications. Now there is a UWSGI, a fast and highly configurable server that supports WSGI and other protocols. So there is a ASGS server that supports HTTP WebSocket and HTTP2. HyperCon, a ASGS server implementation, and UVCorn, a lightning fast ASGS server implementation. So these are different servers which are developed by different companies. These are different servers which are developed by different companies. Okay, na? So these are the list of which servers here? Web servers. These are list of web servers. Actually, these are the servers which are used in which environment? Production. These are the servers which are used in which environment? Production environment. These are the servers which are used in which environment? Production environment. But when you develop web application using Django, with the Django you'll get what? Development server. With the Django you get the development server. Okay. But once you move into a production, you'll try to use different servers given by what? Different people. Different servers given by different people. I think this is Unicorn is developed by Apache. So this is a server which is developed by which one? Apache, right? So different companies are given different web servers which runs which applications? WAGI applications or ASGI applications, right? Yes. This is one more. Understood up to this? What do you say here? Yes or no? Okay. Yes. Then next is, okay, next is, now see, here you have one term, a fast and highly configurable server that support WGA and other protocols, and a pure Python HTTP server commonly used for serving DJANGO WGA applications here. DJANGO WGA applications. DJANGO, and one more term is what here? WGA. Understood? Okay, DJANGO is there, and one more is what here? WGA. Okay, so what is DJANGO and what is WGA? Okay, that you should know this. Okay, so if you want to develop any web application, if you want to develop a web application, okay, if you want to develop a web application, how you develop a web application? By following certain rules and what? Regulations. Okay, by following certain rules and regulations. So what are these rules and regulations is one is what? WGA is one rule, and one more is what? ASGA is one rule. One is WGA is one rule. WGA is one rule. You see here. WGA short Web Server Gateway Interface is a Python standard that defines a web servers and web applications or framework communication. It is a specification that ensures web servers and applications can interact effectively, enable seamless deployment and what? Compatibility. Okay, so you should know what is this here? It is a standardization. So WGA provides consistent way to web servers to pass HTTP request to what? Python web application and receives response back. So that is one standard. WGA is what here? One standard. WGA is one standard, and not only that, framework neutral. WGA is a general interface not tied to any specific framework. Frameworks like DJANGO and Flash utilizes WGA to handle request and what? Response. Handle request and what is that? Response. So you should understand this. Now WGA was initially defined in PEP 333 but has been redefined and updated in PEP 34, right? Okay, which introduced ASGA, that is nothing but a synchronized server gateway interface. WGA acts as a bridge between web servers and Python web applications and ensuring that they can communicate effectively and what? Readable. So it's nothing but, so you have to understand this. So if you want to develop any web application, you want to develop a web application using how to develop, now this is one question. How to develop web application using which one? Python. How to develop web application using what? Python. Understood? Then what do you require? What do you require? How to develop web application using Python? What do you require? What do you require? Suppose I want to develop, yes. How to develop, yes. How to develop web application using Python. What you required? WSGI. Okay, you need to follow some rules and regulations. What is that rules are? WSGI. What are those rules are called? WSGI. WSGI. So how to develop web application using Python? You required some set of rules and regulations. You develop it by using which rules? WSGI. Or you develop it by using which rules? ASGI. You develop it by using which rules? WSGI. Or you develop it by using which rules? ASGI. Means who communicate with your Python web application? WSGI. It means your web application should develop by following the rules given by whom? WSGI. Who's provided WSGI? Python. How to develop Python application? That rules are given by whom? Python. Implemented by whom? Programmer. Implemented by what? Programmer. And executed by whom? WSGI servers. Implemented by whom? Programmer. Executed by whom? WSGI servers. How to develop web application? That rules are given by whom? Python. And what is that rule is called? WSGI. Because who runs a web application of Python? WSGI. Then you should develop web application by using the rules of which one? WSGI. You should develop web application by using the rules of which one? WSGI. So you can say WSGI is what? A protocol. Okay, WSGI is an interface. Okay, WSGI is an API. Is an API given by who is this? It is given by whom? Python. It is given by Python. For what? For what? For developing two things. One is what is the first one is? WSGI. WSGI what? Servers. WSGI servers. And one more is what? WSGI what? Applications. WSGI applications. Now WSGI applications are nothing but which applications? Web applications. WSGI applications is nothing but which applications? Web applications. WSGI applications is nothing but which applications? Web applications. Understood? What do you say here? Yes or no? What is WSGI? Is what is called as exactly API. It is enabled by whom? WSGI servers. WSGI, suppose browser is there. Within the browser, who execute HTML code? Who execute HTML code? Who runs the HTML? Who runs the HTML? Sir, HTML is server side or client side? Client side means HTML code is executed within browser. Executed within browser. In browser, what you require to run HTML? Why you are saying live server here? Who will run HTML code within the browser? HTML, what you required? Parser. HTML parser. HTML translator you required or not? Yes. HTML translator or HTML parser. Who will execute HTML code within the browser? HTML translator or HTML parser. Whatever you write, it execute. Any tag is executed by HTML. No. So certain tags are interpreted and executed by whom? HTML translator. So every browser is having HTML translator or not? Yes. But all these translators are parsers developed by following some rules. Who's given that rules? HTML. Who define the HTML rules? W? W? Who's given that rules? Not WSGI, right? Who's given that rules? Who's given? Uh, W3C. W3C. What is W3 stands for? W3C stands for what? If you don't know, no problem. If you know also, no problem. Okay. Yes. Abhi is more active. This person is more active, right? Who's this name? Shankar Singh. What is this name here? Shankar Bach Singh is more active, hyperactive. Okay, who's given Miss me? Yes, is more hyperactive. These persons are hyperactive. Hyperactive persons, I should send to what? Mental hospital. Yes or no? They'll treat it properly. Understood? Yes. If you give, suppose if I ask one question, if you are telling in different way, is called as mental. Yes or no? Suppose what is your name is, if you tell some other name, you are a mental. Yes or no? Such people are called mentals. Then you have to send to where? Mental hospital. They'll treat, right? How they treat? एक शॉक लगाए तो सीधा हो जाता है ना. Yes. Yeah. That is what I'm telling you here. Yes. Even that is also not enough for you. Yes. 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 Yes, yeah. Yes, I'm telling you, no. Yes. अभी थोड़े लोग रहते हैं यार, मालूम है ना, कहावत मालूम है ना. I should not tell. रोड మీద కుక్క మొరుగుతా ఉంటది, మనం వదిలేసేయాలి. कुत्ता भौंकता रहता है यार. क्या करना, छोड़ देना. वो भौंकता रहता, बस उतना है. आज ज्यादा बोले तो और भौंकता. Yes. Yes. Now what I'm telling you is, what is WSGI servers and what is WSGI applications, right? So now what is WSGI? It is a rule, right? It is a set of rules given by whom? Python, for developing which one? WSGI servers and WSGI applications. Okay, now these are the rules, and who implemented these rules? And these rules are implemented by some people and develop some frameworks. You have a different frameworks, right? You have a different frameworks, or what is that? Libraries. What is that libraries called? DJANGO. What is that libraries called? Flask. You have a DJANGO, and what is that? Flask. So what is DJANGO here? DJANGO is what here? Library. What is a Flask is here? Library. Okay. Now second is, now tell me, if I'm writing cx underscore what here? Oracle. What is this? Library. Okay. MySQL connector Python. What is this? Library. This is also one library, right? Suppose you have a library called PyMongo. PyMongo is what again? Library. All these are libraries or not? Yes. Why you are using these libraries? To communicate with. Now using cx underscore Oracle, you are communicating with which library? Oracle library. And using MySQL connector Python, you are communicating with which library? MySQL. And using PyMongo, you communicate with which library? MongoDB. You communicate with which database? MongoDB. Okay. Then these are libraries. These are what here? Libraries. Can you say these are implementations or not? Tell me, these are specifications or implementations? These are specifications or implementations? Specifications or implementations? Implementations. I'll tell you, you should know this. You should know all these things, because if you don't know this and if you directly install Django and start working, no use. What you are doing, that is what you learn till now. Who execute HTML, you don't know. Where you install your application, you don't know. You don't know anything. You know only HTML, body, head, tail, no. Head, body. You know only these things, but you don't know how this HTML is. You know any parser's names? HTML. Tell me HTML parser name used in Chrome. Tell me the HTML parser name used in Chrome. Tell me the list of HTML parsers. Katam. Over. Over. Yes or no? You should know all these things here. Suppose, see here, you are learning not just for getting a certificate, right? Okay. Okay. Yes. Now see here. For example, yes. See, you don't want all this. Then I can start directly Django. What will I do? I'll say pip install Django. What will happen? Django will be installed. Then start telling, this is a structure of Django application. Write a program, open the browser and send it. Kush. Output aa gaya, hello Django. Khatam. Understood? That I can tell you. First class only I can tell you. But what is the use? Any user? No. You must be technically what? Strong. Technical knowledge you required here. Otherwise, there's no use. Okay. There's no use. Okay, right? Yes. The next is here. Now, a person, I used to tell this example, right? What is that example is like when we work with object orientation. Now you have a concept called which one? Abstraction, right? So assume that, okay, let me tell you a simple example so that you can understand what is this specifications and what? Implementations. Specifications and what? Implementations. So API. Now just to see here, for example, you have a different, for example, you have a SIMs, right? SIM is there, no? In your mobile, SIM is there. So that is, you have this SIM, Airtel SIM, right? You have an Airtel SIM. Okay. I used to tell this example, Airtel SIM and then what? BSNL SIM. Okay. And then you have what? Geo SIM. Like this, all these are SIMs. Developed by different companies or not? Yes. So Airtel SIM is developed by which company? Airtel. Okay, but BSNL SIM is developed by which company? BSNL. Okay, government, right? So Geo SIM is developed by which company? Some Geo. But how they develop all these SIMs? By following the rules given by government of India. So that is nothing but, who's this? TRAI. So Telephone Regulatory Authority of India. Yes, TRAI. TRAI. That is Telephone Regulatory Authority of India. So these people give some rules and regulations. So that rules you call it as what here? That rules you call it as what here? Abstracts. That rules and regulations you call it as what here? Abstracts. Yes or no? Now this TRAI is given some abstracts. How to develop a? The TRAI is given some abstracts. How to develop a SIM? how to develop a sim. These abstracts are given by whom? Try. Yes. Now what this sim is a rule signed. These are nothing but rules and regulations. So rules and regulations given by try. Okay, then who implemented these rules? Who follow these rules? The person who want to develop sim. The person who want to develop a sim. Who is developing sim? Airtel. Who is developing sim? Or Airtel is developing. Okay. Now this is Airtel people are developed with sim. Airtel sim by following the rules given by whom? Government. And in the same way, Geo people develop a sim. Okay, Geo people develop a sim, right? Geo people are develop a sim. So this is called which sim here? Geo sim. And they develop a Geo sim the following rules given by whom? Government. Okay, in the same way, BSNL people, yes. Okay, assume that there are two sims. One is Airtel and one more is what? Geo. But how these sims are developed by following the rules given by who's given rules? Try. Then who will call the functions of this sim? Who's calling the functions of this sim? Where you put this sim in mobile? Where you put this sim in mobile, right? Now this is mobile. This is mobile. Which mobile is there? Samsung. Now who's the caller of this sim functions? Mobile. So mobile is calling the functions of which one? Mobile is calling the functions of which one? Same means then this mobile is having one interface, right? Tell me, this mobile is having one interface, right? What is that interface which communicate with what? Sim. Which communicate with what? Sim. It means mobile is calling the functions of which one? Sim. Mobile is calling the functions of which one? Sim. It means mobile also developed by following the rules given by whom? Sim. Because mobile should call the functions of which one? Sim. Mobile should also develop by following the rules given by whom? SIM. SIM is nothing but who's given the rules? Government. That is try. Okay, in the same way. Now you understood these three people are there now here. How many people are there? How many people are there here? Three people. What is the first person is? What is the first person who given? Who's given what? Abstracts. Who's given? Abstracts. Second person is? Second person is? Who implemented what here? Abstracts. This is a person who's implemented what? Abstracts. And next person is what? Next person is what here? Caller. Next person is what? Caller. Caller. This person is what? Caller, who's calling the functions of what? Sim. Okay, now your mobile is having one interface to communicate with what? Sim. And that interface is developed by following the rules given by whom? Try. Now tell me here also Python people. Now just to try to understand. Python people are given some set of rules and regulations for developing which application? Web application. What is that rule is? What is that rule? WGI. Understood? Then who will develop applications? Developer. You develop web application by following the rules given by whom? Python. This is web application. This is which application? Web application written in which language? Python language. Okay. So this is web application. This is web application developed by using the rules given by what? WSGA. Then who will execute this web application? You develop this web application by following which rules? WSGA, right? WSGA is the rules for developing web application using which language? Python. Then who will run this? Who communicate with this web application? Who will communicate with this web application? Server. Which server it is? Which server it is? WSGI server. Who call the functions of web application? WSGI server. Understood? So who uses WSGI? Who uses WSGI? Two people. One is the person who develop web application, the person who develop server. Who uses WSGI? Two people. One is the person who develop web application, the person who call the functions of what? Web application, that is nothing but who develop WSGI server. Understood? What do you say here? Yes, see here, this is this, if you understand this is also same. If you understand this is also same. Okay, now same implementation and calling. So calling is nothing but interface. Your mobile required an interface to call the functions of SIM. And that interface is developed by using rules given by what? Try. Then this is web server, and web server required an interface to communicate with what? Web application. And that interface is developed by using what? WSGI. And you develop web application also by following the rules given by what? WSGI. Because WSGI server communicate with what? WSGI application. Understood? What is a yes or no? Okay, so that is where you find a difference between WSGI server and WSGI application. Okay, and this WSGI web application, I said there are two things. Then how to develop this WSGI applications? How to develop this WSGI applications? Because WSGI is what? Only specifications. And the specifications are written in what? Python language. The specifications are written in which language? Python language. And these specifications are given by different people as one library. Like Django, people developed WSGI library. What is that? DJANGO. What is that? DJANGO. DJANGO provide the specifications. Specifications written in which language? Python language. By following which rules here? WSGI. It means DJANGO is nothing but what? Framework written in which language? Python language. By following which rules? WSGI. Okay, Flask. Flask is also a library written in which language? Python language. By following which rules? WSGI. WSGI. Right? So try to understand what is WSGI server and what is WSGI application. So DJANGO application is which application? WSGI application. Now Django support both WSGI as well as what? ASGI. Right? So I think up to this you understood. What do you say here? Okay. Now tomorrow I'll tell you what is this Django, Flask and all the things. So but try to understand what is WSGI and what is ASGI. So don't think WSGI means something else and ASGI means something else. Because they ask you what is WSGI and what ASGI. Okay. Yes. Now see here, these are web servers and these web servers are having different what? WSGI servers. Here, this is WSGI. Okay. Yes. Let me tell you in detail on this. What is this WSGI and what is that? ASGI. Okay, right? Yes. Yes. Now, because today we'll stop it here. Okay. And tomorrow I'll tell you what is in detail. What is this WSGI server and WSGI application? Because I want everything, you should know it. Okay, not just installing which one? Django. Okay. So not only that, even we'll see what is the difference between Django and Flask and other frameworks. And we'll see the difference between framework and library. Okay, right? But not today, but we'll see tomorrow this. So don't miss initial classes because initial classes are very important to understand the technology, right? So thank you. We'll see tomorrow, right?